In the heart of what was once the rugged, unyielding Republic of Texas, Governor Greg Abbott stands exposed as a willing participant in the quiet handover of the Lone Star State.
As long as I'm governor of this great state, Texas will be a land for the Indian community, a land for
Abbott's recent directive freezing new H-1B petitions for state agencies and universities now rings hollow.
Governor Abbott made the announcement directing all public universities and state agencies to freeze new H-1B visa applications. Governor Abbott was on the Mark Davis radio show talking about his plan.
What job is it in our public schools in the state of Texas that these H-1B visas personnel are fulfilling that we can't fulfill here in our own public schools? I mean, those are exactly the types of questions that we're looking at.
A superficial gesture after years of courting the very demographic overhaul now transforming Texas suburbs into Little India.
Now, I wanted to come to this area because, as you guys can see behind me, this is a residential area, and you have this very large, very intricate temple that is in this location where you quite frankly would not expect it. And one of the first things I saw when we got here was a huge pile of shoes outside because you cannot wear shoes inside the temple. So you have a lot of people that are walking around this area barefoot. And I actually went inside myself because I wanted to go check it out. And when you get inside, you see people worshiping multiple deities. And the one that did stick out to me was the area where people were going to pray for blessings of health and also for work visas. Now, we're in Frisco, Texas, and going back to that changing demographic, back in 2010, you had about 10% Asian or Indian population in this area. That has since surged to over 30%. And on top of that, Texans telling me as well that some of these school districts now primarily are made up of demographically Asian students. So this is one of the ways that the culture is changing up here. You have multiple Hindu temples all over the DFW area.
Multiple H-1B linked companies registered to single addresses have funneled donations to Frisco, Texas's first Indian mayor.
Take a look at this room full of concerned citizens. They want you to answer questions about why some of the mayor's biggest donors are Indians that don't live in Frisco. Is it because the mayor's real estate business, or is he being bought out to ignore an Indian takeover? Why are people with multiple H-1B companies registered to one address donating to Frisco's first Indian mayor? We know Fortune 100 companies are employing foreigners on H-1B visas, but why are Indians in Frisco opening up their own businesses tied to H-1B? It's not a coincidence that Frisco's Indian population exploded 4,510%, and there's potential visa fraud here.
The H-1B program landed in Texas with the 1990 Immigration Act, sold as a narrow fix for specialized skill shortages. What followed was a flood, especially from India, turning tech corridors and booming suburbs into outposts of chain migration and wage arbitrage.
I came here on H-1B 2004. Everybody was American. But fast forward now, you don't see any Americans.
Where are you from?
Hyderabad.
I'm from India.
From India.
We're in India. Hyderabad? Why do you think Frisco became such a big hub for Indians?
They have their own community here.
No, it's not like that. Not like that here in Frisco?
No.
Motherland India or Texas, USA?
Well, obviously, Motherland India.
Obviously, Motherland India.
Hyderabad, of course. Really? Did you come here on H-1B?
Yeah. I'm on H-1B.
H-1B?
Yeah.
You're H-1B?
Yeah.
Working here at 7-Eleven?
Yeah.
We need more or less H-1B people here?
We need a lot less. I have 2 master's degrees. I was making over $100,000 a year. They said, you're too expensive. We're going to hire Indians.
You know, in looking into some of these companies, I think there may be more than meets the eye. Why not check in and see what we find? This one is Tech Bits on the LCA. We've got 2 2025 workers on site. I don't think anyone is here at Tech Bits.
This is colonization. This isn't immigration. The Indian loyalty remains overseas. Cultural enclaves form parallel economies, and American families get priced out or pushed aside. This isn't stewardship. It's selling Texas out. While private sector H-1B abuse rolls on unchecked, the governor's cozy relationship with the Indian community betrays the very people who built Texas. John Bound reporting for InfoWars.
All right, welcome to the show. Welcome to the Monday night show. Good. It's April 13th, 2026. And we wanted to come on a little bit and cover some. Just double check, see what we got going on here. It sounds off to me. So check. It's working. Okay, cool. Lot going on with this Melania Trump thing, with all these whistleblowers coming out, resurfaced whistleblowers, and they're saying that basically, I covered it last night. Shit, I covered it last night a little bit, and the night before, about what they're saying is if Melania, continues down this path, they're going to expose the truth about everything, and they're doing this publicly. So we're going to get into a little bit of that tonight. We're also going to get into some stuff that I missed. Well, I didn't miss it, but at the time I thought it was conspiracy theory. But now looking back at it, now it makes a little more sense now that somebody prominent has really went, hey, what about this? So we're going to get into that. It's just a short show tonight, probably 40 minutes or so. But thank you for being here. If you have not subscribed to the channel, please do that now. We'd really appreciate your support. YouTube, Rumble, Getter, Twitch, all the channels. X, it'd be great if you would just subscribe to the channel. Even if you don't follow on that channel, if you just subscribe to the Inspector Web, that would be great. We'd really appreciate it. It helps us get out there for people to see us. So thank you. Also, if you have an opportunity to go into having a brain fart here. Go into the description. Check out My Patriot Supply. That's our sponsor right now. That's the one we have right now. Maybe there's something in there: restorable food, water filter, bunch of supplies for in an emergency. It's all there. Check it out. Get about 40% off if you use my code. Appreciate if you do that as well. Now let's get on with the show. All right. So the thing with the H-1B visas and all this stuff that's going on, we were told that the borders closed and that we are going to start shipping them all back. And it almost seems like they've stopped doing deportations altogether. And I think maybe they're doing it undercover, so they don't get the publicity that they used to get. But Texas is the big one because Texas, California, Arizona, and Colorado, all those states along the border were the ones that had the most illegal aliens coming across the border and getting, into the system. So I know that in California it was pretty gnarly. San Diego was so bad that that the crime rate went up. Just all the stuff, right? So we want to keep an eye on that. We don't want to let go of the things that we're supposed to be paying attention to just because other things are more pressing, like in Iran, Israel war, or or the corruption that we're finding, in the Trump administration, the potential insider trading, all the stuff that's coming up pretty hot and heavy here in the next in the next days. We're going to be covering a lot of that stuff. Anyway, all right. So what are we going to do tonight? We're going to get into these victims a little bit, and we're just going to cover some of it, and you be the judge what you think about it. I don't know how much of this is complete propaganda or how much of it is legitimate. It seems like these are the same people. Like, I know Juliet is legit because Juliet, I've seen her on prominent shows like InfoWars several times about the whole thing about her you know, being in Jeffrey Epstein's island, being you know, caught up in that whole thing, and you know, so forth and so on. So I know that Juliet Bryant is legitimate. The other girls, I've seen them too. Like Amanda, we know that that's a legitimate thing because of the whole thing. Because what they did, the whole thing that happened, we covered it last night, is that she had a baby with this guy that's in the administration, and he turned ICE into her, get her deported, and took off with the kid, and this big old drama thing that's going on. It's all over the internet. So anyway, we're gonna cover this stuff a little bit, not too much, you know, short show. We're gonna have a little bit of fun along the way, and let's see what we can get into. Okay, stand by.
Hello, Melania Trump. My name is Juliet Bryant. I'm an Epstein survivor. You want girls to testify under oath. Well, here I am testifying that everything I've said is true. Unfortunately, a lot of the girls who testified died. Maybe it's about time that you and your husband testified too.
I just want to share some nuggets of information surrounding Paulo's origin story so that you guys can better understand how he shaped into the monster that he is today. So as a child from birth, Paulo Zampoli grew up extremely wealthy. You see, at age 14, Paulo met someone who would permanently shape his worldview. A man was named John Casablancas. It's a name that you're probably familiar with. And this friendship between Paulo and John Casablancas is what would spark Paulo's interest in fashion and modeling. Keep in mind, from a very young age, John Casablancas brought in Paulo under his wing and helped him get into the world of modeling and become a modeling agent like himself. The entirety of Paulo and John Casablancas' friendship, John Casablancas actively had horrific allegations against him. Remember, Paulo was born in the 70s. John Casablancas' allegations began to happen in the 70s and continued for decades to come. So Paulo sold his father's toy company to a man named Silvio Berlusconi, who was a disgraced Italian prime minister, who was forced to resign from office because he was caught essaying children. It was during the acquisition of his father's toy company that Paulo started what would be a long-term friendship with both Silvio and his close friend, Flavio Briatore. Silvio is no longer alive in present day, but Flavio Briatore is, and him and Paulo are still very close friends. Paulo posted this just a couple of days ago. Flavio was also at the inauguration party for Donald Trump during this most recent term. Flavio, on top of remaining friends with the disgraced Italian prime minister for egregious acts against children, Flavio was also a ski instructor, ironically turned executive advisor for Formula One racing, to a fugitive hiding in the Virgin Islands, to a successful and wealthy nightclub and hotel owner. Flavio is also the baby daddy to Heidi Klum's daughter, Lenny. Starting in the early 90s, specifically 1994, John Casablancas appointed Paulo Zampoli to run his Elite Models Look of the Year contest that was taking place in Ibiza. The following year, Paulo would move to New York City per the suggestion of John Casablancas. Upon establishing himself in New York City, Paulo Zampoli would purchase Metropolitan Models, and while he owned Metropolitan Models, one of his models would go on to date David Copperfield, who we know is a co-conspirator within Jeffrey's Black Book, as well as a close friend of Paulo Zampoli's, Donald Trump's, and John Casablancas. And shortly after this, he would go on to purchase American Models, which he turned into ID Models. So right around this time, in 1995, Paulo would meet Donald Trump. 1995, Paulo would meet Donald Trump, a longtime friend of John Casablancas and a fellow modeling agent. And as we know, since then, the two of them have been thick as thieves as Paulo sits in our current administration and was also involved in the first one as well. In the year after he met Donald Trump, Paulo discovered Melania in 1996, and she began modeling for him. And shortly after, Paulo would bring Melania to the United States for Donald Trump. During this time period, Paulo also became close with John Luke Brunel, another modeling agent who had very similar allegations as Jeffrey and passed away in the exact same circumstances as Jeffrey. John Luke Brunel was obviously in their same modeling circle, and he had an apartment in Trump Tower, which was owned by Paulo Zampoli's friend. So because of friendship that Paulo started at a young age was with a man named Giuseppe Cipriani. His longtime friend, Flavio Briatore, owns one of the Cipriani locations in London, and he's had a very close relationship with the Cipriani family for a very long time, and has sat on the board of Cipriani's for about 30 years now. The Cipriani family has a history of mess and illegal activities, illicit behavior, mob ties, and just a whole lot of lore within the Cipriani family. In the Cipriani deep dive, we learned that one of the attorneys that the Cipriani family and the Cipriani group use has been Steve Witkoff, the guy who's trying to help Russia annex Ukraine right now on behalf of the United States, alongside enemy of the people, Jared Kushner. But if you're familiar with the Cipriani's brand, you're probably familiar with the Harvey Weinstein scandal. And as a board member and a longtime friend of Giuseppe Cipriani, whenever the Harvey Weinstein scandal broke, and it was exposed that Harvey Weinstein was using different Cipriani hotels, restaurants, and just event locations to prey upon young women with the approval of the owners, Paulo Zampoli took it upon himself to try to clean up the Cipriani's part of the Harvey Weinstein scandal in an extremely detrimental way. Whenever the scandal broke and it was discovered that a lot of Harvey Weinstein's victims were being procured within different Cipriani's locations because it felt like a safe hunting ground for Harvey Weinstein, Paulo Zampoli found the contact information of all the women who were accusing Harvey Weinstein of crimes against them, and he gave them the name and the contact information of an attorney who he said would help them bring Harvey Weinstein down. He basically portrayed it as, I want to help you get justice and I want to help you guys take this man down. And that was not his intentions at all, because when he reached out to these victims, which is already inappropriate for him to do as a board member of Cipriani's who's being accused of allowing this behavior to happen, Paulo gave the victims the name and contact information, not of an attorney that would help them take Harvey Weinstein down. He gave them the name and the contact information of Harvey Weinstein's defense attorney to try to trick these girls into sharing everything that happened to them to his defense attorney, to Harvey Weinstein's defense attorney, so that they could preemptively poke holes in these victims' stories and try to discredit them before ever even making it into a court of law. So as you can see, from a young teenager, Paulo was able to maneuver this world of modeling, fashion, celebrities, and elite parties with ease, because at every avenue, he was always surrounded by the wealthiest, dirtiest, sneakiest, and slimiest men in the industry.
Yeah, I guess I should have slowed that down because that's fast. And I didn't realize how fast it was until it started playing. And I'm like, holy smokes, that's fast. I can't even keep up. And I watched it a couple times and didn't realize it. So in the future, I learned something tonight. I need to slow those down when I download them so they're not going so fast. But here, so Zampoli is the one, he's the one that's in the administration with, Ben Epstein's Island was partners with Epstein and all that stuff. This is that whole scandal that's going on that has just hit the surface, where Trump was involved, or apparently Trump was involved. We haven't seen any proof of it yet. Now, if it comes out, then we'll cover it. But I'm not trying to smut anybody up for anything that's not legitimate. But we know about the Zampoli and Amanda. What is her name? Covered her last night. What the hell is her name? Let's see. I don't have her last name here right now. Anyway, about this whole scandal that's going on, why Melania came out and did the press conference a couple days ago. Somebody must have told her that it was a good idea to get in front of it, and this is what's going on right now. And my question is, in all this, is if all this stuff comes out and we see the truth, does that mean that the blackmail goes away and Trump will go back to being who he was before the blackmail started? Because that's what it seems like at this point. And we're still digging into this to see what is the real reason why Trump has done a 180 on everything. But the only thing I could think of is the blackmail with the Epstein files, because now when you go back and look at the timeline, it looks like once the Epstein files came out, everything in the administration started to change with Donald Trump's or President Trump's context, the way he operates, the things that he says, and how he was talking about it's a hoax and all this stuff. And so we're gonna wait and see how this turns out. But let's listen to this other clip from the part 2 of yesterday's part 1 with Amanda. We covered it last night, or Saturday night, Friday night, Saturday night, both. I think I covered it 2 times, just so everybody has the information. You do what you want with it. You make your own decisions. Stand by.
Jeffrey Epstein's still alive. As is his cellmate, Efren Reyes. Have a great day.
Ooh, the floodgates are open. Just did the story on Amanda yesterday. Now, Victoria is coming forward to talk, and she's got some tea. Let's hear a little bit about Victoria and what she has to say about what's going on right now. Let's listen.
Hi, my name is Victoria, and I am coming on here to say that I am going to officially start doing a series to seek justice. I apologize to my attorneys, but I'll get permission from you later. Anyways, essentially, we have gone through this for many, many years. This needs to be put to an end with the Epstein files, with Melania coming out and saying that she had no ties to Epstein. I will literally, being personally involved with Paolo Zampoli, reporting me and my dad to the FBI when he committed the crime. He committed the crime. Me and my dad did nothing. We did nothing wrong. Reported us to the FBI, report us to the Department of State, is trying to actively sue us. We did nothing wrong. You are the perpetrator, you are a criminal, and I am going to start doing a series on you, Jean-Luc Brunel, Jeffrey Epstein, and Donald Trump. So get ready. And Pam Bondi.
Amanda's come forward, which opened the floodgates for others. These other brave women, now like Victoria, are going to come forward and start speaking truth. I'm going to show you a video right now that Victoria filmed of Trump and Melania. I want you to watch Melania's eyes when she sees that Victoria is the one taking the video. Watch. Looks like Melania here has seen a ghost. A little blast from the past. Huh, Melania? Weren't expect her being there, did you? Now,
the way it works is like the Bill Hicks joke, where they bring the president in on the first day right after the inauguration, and they show them the hidden video from the opposite side of the road than the Zapruder film, where you see the shooter on the grassy knoll kill JFK, and they go, "Yeah, that was us. Do you have any questions now?" I don't. The only thing I can assume is that Trump has made some sort of deal where he thinks he's getting out of this. He's not getting out of this. And I'm telling you, everything is falling apart. So Trump promises mass pardons for his staff before leaving office. We're going to get to that because they also have this story from today. Like, this is the weird part. On the same day that he says he's going to do mass pardons for his people, which, like, even that, it's like, okay, first of all, that's what Biden did because they were all criminals. But also, you let that stand. Why did you let that stand? The whole idea of Joe Biden doing blanket pardons for everybody for years of time for crimes they haven't been convicted of or maybe haven't even committed yet. Yeah, that was absurd. So a couple things here. One, you probably shouldn't have let that stand as a precedent that the president is allowed to do that. You shouldn't be allowed to do that. They shouldn't have been allowed to do that. You're not allowed to do that. That's the first thing. The second thing is, do you really think the Democrats are going to care? This is the real root of the madness of the Republicans. Is, from my interpretation, Trump is doing what he's doing because he thinks this is his way out. He thinks that if I just play along and just do what these guys say, they've guaranteed me that I will be able to retire a billionaire and I'll be made a hero. Because you got to understand, that's what's being held over him. You really have to understand this. It's like, it's not even about like, oh, we have this video of you and we'll release the video. That's how people think the blackmail works. The way it works is like the Bill Hicks joke, where they bring the president in on the first day right after the inauguration, and they show them the hidden video from the opposite side of the road than the Zapruder film, where you see the shooter on the grassy knoll kill JFK, and they go, "Yeah, that was us. Do you have any questions now? Do you have any questions about what we're capable of and what we can do to you?" It goes even beyond that. Then they could pull out Nixon, and they could go, "This man won in a landslide. He won like 90% of the popular vote, something insane. And to this day, his name is synonymous with criminality and corruption. Man didn't do anything wrong." Watergate, really? Watergate, I can think of 10 scandals in the last 10 years that are crazier than Watergate. I can think of multiple scandals that have been revealed as of like a couple months. The Arctic frost thing, way worse than Watergate ever was, and kind of the same thing, surveillance of your political enemies. Only one case it was like, let's root through their files, and the other it's let's listen to their phone calls for months on end. So So that's the threat they can hold over Trump. It's not, oh, we're going to release a videotape. It's, we will make sure that you are despised forever. We will ruin your presidency and have the American people thinking of you as Benedict Arnold or Adolf Hitler for the rest of time. That's the type of leverage they can hang over Donald Trump and his family. And they could just kill them all, and they may be making that threat. But, you know, even worse than that for someone like Trump is, we'll kill you and we'll ruin your reputation first. We will destroy your entire legacy first. So just play along. 3 years, then you'll be out. Just give us what we want, and we'll let you go on your way. The stupidity of it all, the real key to all of this is the understanding that they'll do it anyway. You think they care? The only thing I can assume is that Trump has made some sort of deal where he thinks he's getting out of this. He's not getting out of this. Lindsey Graham's not getting out of this. They're not getting out of the retribution that's coming for them when the Democrats inevitably take power because of their betrayal. This is what I mean. Like, how do you not understand this? Like, it seems to me that Trump is operating on this idea of like, well, Biden pardoned all of his people and we let him do that. So now I'll pardon all of my people and they'll let us do that. Trump, they tried to throw you in jail over a law they literally made up to throw you in jail. What do you not understand about this?
I want to make a massive announcement right now. I mean, this is just.
So the whole thing sucks. The whole thing doesn't sound right. It's corruption on top of corruption. Everything's fucking corrupt. And I didn't vote for this at all. And nobody that I know voted for this. And if this is how the system's going to just continue to run forever, then we're screwed. It's going to be globalists, CBDCs, 15-minute cities. It's just going to be all the stuff that we've been fighting to get rid of all these years. It's going to continue. The illegal voting, all the stuff. It's all going to continue. So that's where we're at. We're going to keep our eye on all this stuff with the Trumps in the White House and the pedophiles in the White House and all that. We're going to keep an eye on it. We are definitely going to keep an eye on it. So, stand by for semi-palate cleanse. Let's see if we can. Anyway.
All right, are you listening? I think I'll start with open the effing straight, you crazy bastards, or you'll be living in hell. And then at the end, maybe throw in praise be to Allah.
You think I should type praise be to Allah, and that's from you, the President of the United States?
Yes, Allah. They say Allah. It's a sarcastic attack on the world's largest religion. They famously have a great sense of humor about that kind of stuff.
As your press secretary, this puts me in a tough position, sir.
Oh, don't worry about that, Caroline. Like I said to Bam Bondi and Kristi Noem right before I fired them, you're doing a terrific job.
Thank you, sir. I love you too.
All three of those were played by Ashley. It's an interesting detail. There are a lot of important things happening in the world right now, and I have to make some urgent phone calls.
Hello?
Tiger, it's Donald. What's going on, buddy? Are you playing in the Masters this weekend?
No, sir. I don't know if you'll remember, but I flipped my car and got a DUI.
Oh, right. A Dewey. As in, do we drive on pills? Yes, he do.
That's a good one, Mr. President.
You should have told the cops we were friends. They would have let you off.
Well, I did, and they didn't.
If only there was something I could have done to help. Oh, well. Want to play some golf?
I'm actually at a rehab facility in Switzerland at the moment.
Oh, and how's the course there?
Oh, well, actually, there's no golf. You see, I don't know why this.
Okay, who else? Oh, wait, who's this? I don't recognize the number. Hello?
Hello, Donna.
Melania, you're calling me? That's not a good sign.
Listen, I decided I should do a big random speech completely out of nowhere and say, I am not Epstein victim. Is that good?
Darling, I gotta admit this sounds a little insane. Who are you, me?
Well, it's not just Epstein. I thought I could also say, I, Melania Trump, in no way helped out the Gilgo Beach serial killer. That way, no one is suspicious.
Darling, I think that's gonna make everyone way more suspicious.
Okay. What if I announce I barely partied with Didi? Would that help?
You know, Melania, I'd really love to talk more, but I have a meeting with Ronald Reagan. Let's see. Anything else I'm forgetting? There's got to be something. All right, the war. What? Pete, it's President Trump. What's up?
What's up?
Remember that in the 90s.
Sorry, Mr. President, I didn't know it was you. I just said unknown caller. So I figured I'd just answer and say a couple military secrets.
That's wonderful. That's great. So what's the latest on that whole thing we're doing in Iran?
Well, rest assured, sir, Iran is as obliterated as me every Saturday night, allegedly. We've destroyed everything. We wet their willies, tapped their sacks, and purpled every single nurple. You also probably heard that I want to start a draft again, which is a great sign for the ceasefire. Yeah, except this time we're fighting millennial cringe by letting 40-year-olds join the military. Yeah, put that finger mustache to work pulling a trigger.
Really good. Really good. That's great. That one for sure hits with me.
But sir, I got to ask, is it true what I heard? Are you actually negotiating with these herbs?
You know what? Don't worry about the negotiations. I just heard they're going really, really bad. I sent in my secret weapon, J.D. Vance. After those Iranians spent 20 hours talking to J.D., they said, please, sir, just go back to bombing us.
Yeah, very good, sir. Even hearing about someone getting bombed just got me hard as hell.
That's great. That's great. I'm bricked as well. All right. Well, keep up the good work, Pete. And hey, if you think of a good reason why we went to war, could you let me know?
Honestly, sir, if I were you, I'd probably just tell them, we did it off with a nookie.
What?
The nookie.
Come on.
So we can take their oil and
Oil.
stick it in our cars.
Cars.
Stick it in our cars. Stick it in our cars. $7 a gallon. Hegseth out.
Can you hear me now? Yeah, you should be able to hear me now. Very strange how that cut out like that. Yeah, I don't know why that cut out like that. Anyway, what I was saying was, hopefully you heard that clip. Um, cut off. No shit. All right, I'm gonna do it over. I don't know what happened. It just cut off. So I'm going to start over here. I'm going to do this clip again. So what I was saying, it looks like in halfway through that last clip, it went off. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to play this Tucker Carlson clip again. I apologize for that. That really sucks. I hate when that happens. There's no real reason. But so Tucker Carlson said that he realized that Trump didn't have his hand on the Bible during inauguration, and I've noticed that as well, but I didn't think nothing of it at the time. Now it's making more sense, which this whole thing is making more sense now. Stand by.
On Inauguration Day, the president did not take his oath of office with his hand on the Bible. His wife stood next to him holding it. I was about 15 feet away and saw it, but he did not put his hand on the Bible. And that should have been maybe a clue that we need to pause and think about, what is this? Why wouldn't you put your hand on the Bible? If you don't believe in the Bible, there's no cost to you to putting your hand on it, just kind of following the protocol, going along with the tradition. All presidents do it. Why aren't you doing it? And you're not doing it intentionally. You're choosing not to put your hand on the Bible when you take that oath. That suggests not that you don't believe it's real, because if you didn't believe it was real, why would you care? That suggests you know it is real and you're rejecting it. You know what you're doing and you're doing it anyway. But nobody asked questions about that either. It seemed kind of inappropriate, given the celebration then in progress, to ask, why wouldn't you put your hand on the Bible when you take the oath of office to lead our nation? But pretty much nobody did. I didn't. I'll
Anyway,
admit that.
what I
I
was
saw it
saying-
and didn't say one word. Bothered me ever since.
Yeah, and so that bothers me a lot. And now that I see all this stuff going on, and I don't know what that means. I mean, it looked like during the Butler shooting, he was spared. So does that take me back to something else, that maybe that whole thing was a setup? Because I've heard it, I've seen it. It looked, but people were killed there. So I don't want to believe that that's true. I mean, there's so many things that don't make sense right now, and I'm like, are we in Twilight Zone? We're going to cover more of this on Friday. We're going to really get into this, and we're going to dig into a lot of this stuff, that so we can get like clear on like what all this means, what's going on. We're going to get into the Charlie Kirk thing. That don't make sense. There's a lot of things that are not adding up. We're going to get into all that stuff. And, you know, what are we saying? I don't know what we're saying yet. We're just going to keep following it where it leads. That's where we're going to go, wherever it's at. All right. So, that's weird. Shit's going crazy over here. They're probably tracking me. Anyway, I will see you on Friday. God bless everybody. Have a great evening, and please subscribe to the channel. Good night.